Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Wempe Zeitmeister large date, which is kind of funny because the actual main point of this watch, at least from a selling perspective, is probably the 2 time zone function, which isn't in the name, but that's okay. Wempe is a German-based watch retailer that also has its own in-house brand, and I'm doing a review of a couple of the watches. Why? Well, I think they're a pretty good price for what you get. They're of a very good quality. They're conservative, and they're sold by a reputable dealer directly from Wempe. I don't know if you can get them outside of Wempe, and Wempe only has one location that I know of in the United States, but there's a lot of them in Germany. So why do I say all that? Well, one, so I can explain where you can buy these watches, and two, to sort of indicate that even though they're affordable, there's a real level of exclusivity here because you can't just find them anywhere. The Zeitmeister large date is available in 2 dials right now, this white dial and a black dial. I'm just going to put it on right now. It's got a polished 5-link style bracelet, which is a nice mixture of sort of conservative and a little bit sporty. The fact that it's polished makes it a little bit more of a dress watch. And there's a tension clasp here, which has a hidden deployant, so you don't see it, which is nice and elegant. 42 millimeters wide in polished stainless steel. It's a little bit on the thick side for a dress watch, but again, it is more modern in its theme, so I don't think that that's a problem, but there are definitely thinner dress watches that Wempe makes. One of the reasons for the thickness has to do with the fact that there's a movement as well as a module. The base movement is an ETA 2892, and there's a module for the big date and the 2 time zone. And let me show you sort of how it works here, because there's just one crown. There's no pushers or anything like that allowing you to indicate or to adjust the function. So it's mostly pretty logical the way it works, but there's a few interesting things. Also, the movement, of course, because it's 2892, has a hacking seconds function. So here's how it works. You pull it out. You pull out the crown one position, and you move it upwards, and well, nothing happens. There we go. You move it downwards, and you're adjusting the big date. Okay. You move it upwards. Nothing happens. So then you ask yourself, how is it that you change the second time zone? Well, here's where the little quirk comes in, and not all dual time movements work this way, but this one definitely does. So I'm going to adjust the time here backwards. And if you look, as I'm adjusting the time backwards, only one of the hour hands is moving, but both of the minute hands are moving. This is how you change the time from the local time and the home time. You want to change them. If you move the time the other direction, both the hour hands move at the same time. So what you want to do is you want to set the time in the second time zone. Let's say I want to be 4 o'clock in the second time zone, the small one. Then I set the time on the main time to say I want to be, well, 2 o'clock. This would eventually sync, so that you have 2 o'clock on the larger dial and 4 o'clock on the smaller dial. And that's how you change the time. Pretty much all Wempe watches are chronometers, but they're German chronometers, which is a slightly different and actually more strenuous rating than the Swiss cost chronometer rating. On the back of this watch and some other Wempes is an engraving of the observatory where chronometer rating is done in Glashütte in Germany. Glashütte is where Wempe watches, I believe, are assembled, and right there on the dial it says made in Germany, which is nice because it really sort of emphasizes the German aesthetic here. The Dauphine hands and the hour markers are non-original. We've seen things like this on probably most notably Patek Philippe, but there's a lot of watches out there. And again, it is a larger proportioned watch. Again, the case is 42 millimeters wide. I don't have the exact figure for the thickness, but as you can see, it is definitely on not the thicker side in the scheme of watches, but as a dress watch, it's more robust and masculine. One of the things I appreciate about this watch is the really relatively affordable price point. Good quality steel case, nice finishing, good detailing. Again, you have a movement with a module. It's German, chronometer rated, from a good brand. Retail price is $2,905, which isn't bad, all things considered. And you can see the full review of the Wempe Zeitmeister large date on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.